Education is a lifelong process. So a pleasant day to you, Coach Jude Martinez and classmates. I am Steve Marpagot Isidro. So for today's discussion, we prepared a graphic organizer for the four general philosophies. That how it manifested in our classroom situation in response to community context. And this video will help me to be done by my friends Princess Erica Rebillas, Alibert Antipasado, Riza Maritinkoy, and Jerome Galvez.
Good day, Coach Jude. Good day, everyone. I am Princess Erica Iribilias, the little teacher of Study Hub number 10, which is the High Flyers.
Hey everyone, my name is Jerome Galvez from Study Hub number 10.
Hi everyone, my name is Riza Marie Aftingkoy.
I am Alibert Antipasado.
The four general or world philosophies. First is the idealism, second is the realism, third is the pragmatism, and fourth is the existentialism.
Idealism is a philosophical approach that has its central tenet that ideas are the only true reality, the only thing worth knowing. Idealism aim of education is to discover and develop each individual's ability and full moral excellence in order to better serve society. The curricular emphasis is subject, matter of mind, literature, history, philosophy, and religion. Teaching methods focus on handling ideas through lecture, discussion, and Socratic dialogue. A method of teaching that uses questioning to help students discover and clarify knowledge.
Educational realism is the belief that we should study logic, critical thinking, and the scientific method to teach students to perceive and understand reality. Realists believe that the job of schools is to teach students about the world around them. How is realism applied in the classroom? Realism calls self-discipline for the learners by controlling their feelings, desires, and perform duties. Realism tells teachers to treat learners with affection and sympathy, and it allows considerable freedom to learners so that moral and religious education in the curriculum are recommended. Realism is the belief developed by Aristotle that there are an absolute reality, and educational realism attempts to teach students how to find the reality through logical processes, study of the natural world, as well as the skill of inquiry and the scientific method are all important parts of the realist classroom.
Pragmatism is an educational philosophy that says that education should be about life and growth. That is, teachers should be teaching students things that are practical for life and encourage them to grow into better people. Many famous educators, including John Dewey, were pragmatists. In education, pragmatism is an approach to learning and teaching that focuses on keeping things practical. Its key theorist is John Dewey. It has four principles: unity, interest, experience, and integration. Pragmatic teachers use active project-based learning strategies in the classroom and focus on topics relevant to students' lives. The four principles of pragmatism in education. First is the principles of utility. Everything that students learn should have utility. This means that everything should be useful to the student. A student doesn't care for learning abstract, theoretical ideas that they will never apply to their lives outside of school. Instead, a student wants to learn things that are relevant to their lives. By making things relevant and useful, students will be more engaged and eager to learn. Second is the principle of interest. Curriculum content should also include the student's interests. Argues that students have four interests: the conversation, investigation, construction, and creative expression. Therefore, teachers should focus on creating lessons that involve talking with one another, investigating things through experimentation, making things, and being creative. Third, principle of experiment. Pragmatists value experience over all else. Students can learn abstract things all day, but unless they experience those things, they may never truly learn. Teachers should therefore create a lot of project-based, experimental, and experiential lessons that help children learn by doing. The fourth one is the principle of integration. Curriculum content is not separate. Mathematics, science, and creative arts are not three different lessons. Instead, the pragmatic teachers links the curriculum content together through a process we call integration. The teacher will show students how concepts from different subjects are related to each other and encourage a holistic understanding of topics they are learning. So, here are the examples of pragmatism inside the classroom. Experiential, experimental, and project-based learning according to pragmatism. Students learn best through experience. A pragmatic teachers, therefore, the students can go off and experiment with materials to learn how they work. There will be a lot of scientific projects, writing tasks that involves topics that are relevant to the student's life, and mathematical tasks that can be used by the students when they go home at night. Would not be the sort of teachers who does ROT learning. Instead, the teachers would ask students to go off and experience things. Second, play-based learning. One of the best ways of experiencing the world, and therefore learning, is through play. This is particularly true for early childhood classrooms. Therefore, pragmatists believe that children should spend a lot of time playing. Through play-based learning, children experiment and therefore learn more and more about themselves and the world. The third one is the group work and negotiation. Table groups layouts are ideal in pragmatist classrooms. Pragmatists are not idealists or purists. This means that they are more interested in getting things done than achieving perfect results. In the classroom, this means that students need to learn how to get along with each other and compromise in order to achieve results. A pragmatic classroom will therefore involve a lot of group work where students have to come to mutual agreements. Pragmatic teachers should explicitly teach students group work, cooperation, and negotiation skills. They should then encourage children to practice those skills throughout their daily tasks. A pragmatic teacher might also arrange the classroom layout into table groups. This will encourage students to work together to get things done.
An extensionist classroom typically involves the teachers and school laying out what they feel is important and allowing the students to choose what they study. All choose what they study, all students work on the different and also self-selected assignments of their own pace. A teacher with an existentialist perspective would be surprised at how students are taught. They would see it is an offensive and even with tendency towards being a form of propaganda. Students would need much more choices and responsibility for their own actions since the current form of teaching is destroyed individualism. A field trip is the best example of existentialism. Students go outside of their classroom and learn what they cannot learn in their classroom. This learning will lead students to find their meaning of life because they get to know what they like and what they want to learn and what is important to them.
Good day, Coach Jude Martinez and classmates. I am Untitled Chapter, and my task in this video presentation is to make an essay. Be able to compose an essay to explain how education was shaped by the philosophical and sociological perspectives of the time, focusing on how education responds to the needs of the society and community. Time immemorial, education is constrained by the limiting nature of academics, focusing on what child should learn. However, we have come to the time where we have regards over the question how child should learn. It is revolutionary to have the philosophies and social perspective hand in hand with the education because it fundamentally backs the approaches, style, and methods in learning with the universal known truths, values, theories, and concepts about human learning phenomena. The way that philosophies affects the education is this. The education uses these concepts to understand their learner and thus transpiring it in the way they approach and teaching process. Even on the onset, philosophies are necessarily questions that scholars try to answer by looking into the human experience. It's cultivated from shared experiences as well as grounded with observations, rationality, and logic. As an example, the philosophy of idealism. Idealism can be defined as a philosophy that establishes the basis of reality with concepts such as intellectual, spiritual, and idea, meaning in educations, learners ought to learn by questioning and providing the seek for the truth and reality. This prompts us that teachers are deemed to be role models for intellectual and spiritual aspect. This very idea shapes education in a way that learners should be given the opportunity to learn deeply and make realizations out of the things that they are learning. This example as well is relevant when we talk about reaching out to the needs of our society. Our society needs people who are critical in working for the truth and ought to be role models as well in order to respond to social issues prevalent. In response to the needs of the community, the philosophy is foundationally used by the education in order to be targeted and directed in owning a certain potential of a learner, such as being critical, experiential, and well-mannered.
So that's all for our video presentation. Thank you for watching.
I put my